Fhima embodies a philosophy of grace and detachment when it comes to revisiting the whirlwind of emotions from her time on The Golden Bachelor. As the runner-up in the season that captivated audiences with its exploration of later-life romance, she approaches Gerry Turner's newly released memoir, The Golden Years, with a measured curiosity rather than outright engagement. Turner, the charming retiree who captured hearts with his vulnerability and humor, has laid bare the intricacies of his journey, from profound grief to televised courtship and the unraveling of a fairy tale proposal. Fhima, the vibrant fitness instructor from Minnesota, admits she hasn't delved into the full text, opting instead for selective excerpts that offer glimpses without overwhelming immersion. This selective reading stems from a place of respect and self-preservation. Turner, in a gesture of courtesy, shared the chapter dedicated to her long before publication, seeking her approval on its portrayal. Fhima found this act considerate, a rare bridge of communication in the often chaotic aftermath of reality television. Upon reviewing it, she noted an absence of negativity. Turner refrains from casting blame or shadows on her character. This positivity aligns with the peace they forged post-show, a mutual understanding that allows both to move forward unburdened by resentment. Fhima's ethos is clear. She champions happiness for all involved, wishing Turner and his former fiancée Teresa Nist the fulfillment of finding their true counterparts. Her words reflect a maturity honed by life's twists: 2 divorces, a career in wellness, and now this public chapter of Almost Was. Fhima's stance contrasts with Nist's more vocal critiques of the memoir, where the New Jersey financial professional expresses frustration over Turner's narrative choices. Yet Fhima positions herself as a neutral ally, offering support to her friend without wading into the fray. She likens her role to that of Switzerland: impartial, listening, advising when sought, but ultimately detached from the conflict. This boundary setting underscores a key lesson from her Golden Bachelor experience. Personal growth often requires stepping back to honor others' battles while safeguarding one's own serenity. For Fhima, the show was never about claiming a title but about embracing possibility, and her reflections on Turner's book reinforce that the real prize is inner peace. Turner's The Golden Years unfolds as a tapestry of raw honesty, weaving personal tragedy with the surreal spectacle of reality TV. Central to his story is the devastating loss of his high school sweetheart and wife of 43 years, Toni, who succumbed to a bacterial infection shortly after they settled into their idyllic lakefront home in 2017. The grief was compounded by a posthumous revelation. Toni had been living with undiagnosed type 2 diabetes, a condition that silently eroded her health. Turner grapples with haunting what-ifs. Could better management have extended her life? Did societal pressures around stoicism prevent her from confiding in him? These questions torment him, highlighting the unspoken burdens in long-term partnerships and the fragility of unspoken vulnerabilities. Unable to remain in the home saturated with memories, Turner relocated but preserved a cherished glamour shot of Toni in his new closet, a daily ritual of greeting that keeps her spirit alive. This act of quiet devotion illustrates his enduring love, a foundation that The Golden Bachelor sought to build upon. Yet the memoir confronts misconceptions head-on, particularly a media report that exposed his post-Twitterhood flings and odd jobs, details he omitted during casting to emphasize his decade-plus celibacy. One poignant admission involves a romance sparked at Toni's funeral, with a woman from the receiving line. What began as connections spiraled into premature cohabitation, a misstep Turner attributes to grief's disorientation and his inexperience with modern dating after decades of fidelity. This chapter humanizes him, revealing the awkward stumbles and rebuilding after loss, where enthusiasm clashes with emotional unreadiness. The casting process itself stirred complexities. Turner's connection with Joan Vassos, the eventual Golden Bachelorette lead, ended abruptly when she prioritized her daughter's postpartum challenges, a decision he respected but mourned deeply. Vassos's exit left him deflated, sensing she could have been the one. Months later, she gifted him an Annie Leibovitz photography book admired during their date, a gesture that rekindled faint hopes. When Turner visited the Bachelorette set, joy for her progress mingled with personal sorrow, a bittersweet echo of paths diverging. Elimination decisions weighed heavily, especially sending home Ellen Goltzer, the retired teacher whose warmth lacked the romantic spark needed for deeper commitment. Turner agonized over this soul-crushing choice, contrasting it with the instinctive retention of Fhima and eventual winner Nist. With Fhima, excitement pulsed, though her dynamic lifestyle occasionally unnerved him. Her past divorces raised flags about commitment definitions, a concern he now views as his own insecurity rather than her flaw. Regret shadows his declarations of love to both Fhima and Faith Martin during hometown visits. Sincere in the moment, they later felt like betrayals of singular devotion, a burden he carries as a lesson in emotional fidelity. The fantasy suites crystallized his choice for Nist. Conversations about futures and her retirement dreams convinced him she was indispensable. Yet the final rose decision tore him between Nist's safe familiarity and Fhima's exhilarating risk. Their Costa Rican engagement, celebrated with room service evoking Tony's nurturing spirit, promised sooniness. But reality intruded. Post-show calls felt monotonous, her sugar-free diet clashed with his preferences, and a secret New York rendezvous exposed incompatibilities in daily rhythms.